Welcome to Taxidermy Truths, where we discuss the ins and outs of not only the taxidermy process, but the influences on the hunting community as a whole. With over 25 years in the wildlife and taxidermy industry, I host open conversations with artists, experts, and industry giants. From sustainable utilization to shipping rates, we dig into the reality of the experience after the safari and hear real stories worth remembering. Hi there, my name is Douglas Crowcroft and welcome back to Taxidermy Truths. Today we're going to chat about calibers. Now, immediately one would say, what's the impact of a caliber of a rifle on taxidermy? But the impact is big. So let me start with something that I was taught a long time ago that stood me in fairly good stead. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. In hunting, if you plan your hunt and consider the final product at the end of the process, when you plan your hunt in the beginning, your success rate is immediately going to escalate. So, caliber plays an enormous role in what your final taxidermy is going to look like when hanging on your wall. Keep in mind that you're going to have the taxidermy on your wall for a lot longer than the planning and the hunt itself. So, decisions need to be made being conscious of how long you're going to look at this incredible animal on the wall, in your showroom, in an office. You don't want to be reminded when you see that nasty scar down the side of a beautiful sable. You don't want to be reminded that you didn't plan and use the right caliber when hunting this once-in-a-lifetime animal. So I've spoken to many hunters over the years, and they always say the food at the lodge was amazing, bed was incredible, what amazing sunrises and sunsets. And as the conversation goes on, you realize just how important the experience around the hunt is. And the moment that trigger is pulled is actually a very short chapter in the story of that animal that you've hunted. So by planning the correct caliber, it just means that you're going to be reminded of all the good, all the positive planning. And when it's hanging on that wall, looking incredible, you'll immediately bring that whole story back to life. So let's dive into it. Calibers. I'm going to start with an animal in South Africa that we've spent a lot of time working on. As an artist, it's a wonderful canvas because it's truly a difficult animal to portray well. A blue duiker. Anyone who's hunted a blue duiker will attest to the fact that you don't have a whole lot of time to get a shot. But if you have been patient, the area's been scouted by the PH or the outfitter, they know the blue duikers are on these trails. The trick there is to actually go with a bigger caliber. So, while speaking about caliber, I'm going to mention something at this point. Soft point or hard point? A solid. So, on a blue duiker, we have found that a caliber like a 375 with a solid point has a small entry and a small exit. So from a taxidermy perspective, there's less bullet shock, which means that your coat of the animal doesn't get under stress and you have less hair slip potential around entrance and exit. So I would say, when planning for a tiny 10 size animal, blue duiker, steenbuck, gracebuck, mountain reedbuck, maybe all of your smaller animals, look at a solid point and a higher caliber. It's just going to mean that the bullet gets through the animal a lot faster, entrance and exit is negligible. So when the taxidermist mounts that incredible animal, the potential for scarring, where the stitching up of those holes and those little blemishes occurs, the potential for scarring is removed. So why wouldn't you plan the caliber, the bullet, and the details around source this incredible animal? Because at the end, if you were to shoot a blue duiker with 6.5 Creedmoor with a soft head, the bullet would travel fast, but there'd be nothing left on the other side. It reminds me of a story when I first started in taxidermy some years back. I was in a lodge, and a hunter came in and showed me photographs of an incredible steenbuck. I mean, it was a beautiful animal, great horns, great hunt. Problem was, it was almost severed in half. And while it was said as a joke I've heard this joke too often as a taxidermist. Don't worry, if you've got a good taxidermist, he can fix that. Well, as good as a taxidermist might be, the goal of amazing taxidermy is to recreate that beautiful animal so that the hunter can relive the memory of that entire animal. If you shoot a small animal with a soft bullet at a high velocity, it's going to tear that animal to pieces. And that doesn't leave the best canvas for the taxidermy artist to create a beautiful, long-lasting piece that will bring back all those memories. So plan the caliber. Heavier round, solid point. It's going to do wonders for those small animals. Big game, eland, buffalo, kudu. Here you can look at a caliber that is slightly faster because you're probably going to be shooting a lot further out. So you need to get that carry. You don't want drop in the round. You want to know that if I put the crosshairs at that point, that's where my bullet's going to go. Within a fist, that's kind of where you're aiming. You don't want a wayward shot. No hunter does, because a wounded animal it's never what you want. However, by using the right caliber for eland, kudu, buffalo, the bigger game, your success rate increases dramatically. It also means that that bullet does enough damage to kill the animal quickly and cleanly. It's about ethical, responsible hunting. Once that animal goes down, you then have the opportunity to retrieve it and skin the animal out quickly, get it into good salt, and have a much better outcome trophy at the end of the experience. So again, consider the size of the animal, the penetration of the bullet, and if that bullet's moving too fast and is too soft, as that bullet hits and opens up through the animal, it's going to tear a big hole out on the other side. So it's clear that the weighting of the bullet is important. The caliber is important. So you've planned the caliber. You've got a 375 with a solid for an oribi. Once you've got your oribi, the job is not done yet. That first 24 hours of that skin being an animal that has already been harvested is the most critical period when preventing hair slip on your trophy in the future. So in a nutshell, this is how hair slip works. The minute you shoot an animal, the animal dies and it therefore has no more immune system. Without an immune system, bacteria has place to attack any areas of fragility, any areas that are exposed very quickly. So if the bullet has blown a large section out and bruised the skin at the exit point, this now becomes a key area where bacteria could infest, and when that happens, the spread of hair slip and the final product with a nasty scar or no hair. So getting that animal into salt and skinned cleanly as soon as possible is critical, because hair slip originates in the first 24 hours after that animal has been harvested. Choose the right caliber. It means that your options on taxidermy are far wider. If you do shoot a smaller animal with a soft nose and a fast rifle, and it does blow out, chances are you'll be looking at a shoulder mount or a pedestal mount rather than a full mount, because the exit would come out, if it was quartering towards you, would come out far side beyond rib cage and open up the back skin. So the full mount is no longer an option. So if you go into your hunt planning for a full mount because you've got 8 of the tiny 10 and you need a Sunni and a blue diker, and all other 8 are full mounts, it's even more important to plan the caliber, because you know what you want to put on the wall to complete your display, so that you can relive the memory of collecting those incredible animals and the adventures that go along with them. Choosing the mount type, pairing it with the caliber, making sure that the bullet selection is correct, just increases your success chance and the opportunity to appreciate exactly what your expectation is at the end of the taxidermy process. So this is Taxidermy Truths. The truth is, if you plan effectively in the beginning, the outcome is more predictable. As a taxidermist, we aim to manage expectations, because the artist might see something that the hunter doesn't. I'm not an engineer, so if I were to do a building project, I would be open to the engineer explaining what would be best for that particular build. By the same token, taxidermists are artists, incredible artists. They take a living animal as their canvas, that skin, and create something that is three-dimensional, as well as conjures up these memories. So give the taxidermist the best possible canvas to get the best possible outcome. And the way that you as a hunter can ensure that the canvas is awesome is by choosing the right caliber and the right round for the job. There's so many incredible rifles available on the market today. I'm definitely not qualified to break into all these different nuances of the different calibers and the different, are you going to load it hot? What powders, what primers? There's so much to it, but we're lucky. We live in an era where information is readily available on the internet and with so many incredible companies that are out there. So depending on your style of hunting, whether it's up close walk and stalk or more long distance shooting, are you shooting a clip springer across a massive valley and you need to be able to get the bullet out there? You need to consider that, because the last thing you want to do is, as they say, not have a gun and need it, or I'd rather have a gun and not need it. So planning the caliber, planning the hunt based upon the outcome of the taxidermy is going to give you the opportunity that your expectations will be managed and will be met. As a taxidermist, the challenge of creating a seamless, beautiful mount is one of the things that excites me the most. The opportunity to create something beautiful. Stay involved with your hunt. Watch the guys skit. Make sure the salt being used is a sea salt rather than a pan salt. Make sure it's that fine to medium grain salt. When the guys treat your skins, realize that that is the opportunity to create a better canvas. So stay involved. You've done incredibly well up to that point. Remain in control. It's worth investing in good knives and giving the trackers and guys who skin, give them a nice knife. It's a gift. It's inexpensive, but it means a lot to people who use their hands in this trade every day. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. I appreciate the fact that as a taxidermist, we're exposed to all angles of the hunt, not just the artistic side, but also we get exposed to the story, the planning, as well as the happy memories that come after the clients have the trophies on their walls. Thanks for listening. We look forward to chatting to you again soon.